Cheryl asks, is massage essential if you have an exercise routine? Good question. But by massage, I'm assuming you mean this, as opposed to this. Actually, the answer's probably the same. Personally, I'd say it's essential for me and many of the people that I know. People who exercise fall into two categories. Those that do it and never have a problem, and those that do it and do have problems. Now the first group, they're like aliens. People say they exist, but I've never seen one. So if you're in the second group, then massage can really help. Now the question is, do you outsource it or do you go DIY? Here are my pros and cons to outsourcing it to someone else. The pros, they can reach places that you can't. They can apply a greater range of techniques and pressures than you can alone. If they know what they're doing, and they're good, they can treat not only the symptom, but also the cause. And it can be more relaxing if someone else is doing it. The cons are, they see you when they can see you, not when you may need to see them. They work on you for the time they've got available, not the time that you might need. You might need 7 minutes a day, not an hour a week. Qualifications don't mean they're any good. Experience and empathy trumps letters after your name in this field. There can be a big disconnect between what you need and what they give you. They cost money and massage is an ongoing expense. The pros of DIY are, you can treat you whenever and for as long as you need. If you work on you, then you become an expert on you. And ultimately, that's all you need to be. You know how much force you need to apply, how long for, and how much you can tolerate. If you're training multiple times a week, it's more necessary and efficient to DIY the areas you've just trained because you're going to need them the next day rather than waiting to the end of the week to have somebody else do it. It's much cheaper in the long run. The cons of DIY are that there are places and techniques that you're just not going to be able to do. On the spectrum of micro to macro trauma, soreness to injury, it's really hard to self-treat an injury. When you start out, you won't have the knowledge or experience, so you'll end up treating the symptoms locally rather than the causes. It requires effort to do the DIY, and you're probably going to need to buy a few things. Finding a masseur or masseuse is like finding a girlfriend. Forget Hollywood, it's a numbers game. The more you try, the better the eventual fit. And the upside of the search is that you're going to learn techniques and information on your own body, so it's not wasted. The downside is, you're going to meet some real drongos. If you choose to go DIY, here are a few things that you might need. Let's start with a percussion massager. Now this is the halfway house between the therapist and the torture tools. It's like your little worker. All you have to do is manage it by holding on to it, or delegate and get someone else to hold on to it. Or lose the middleman, wedge it, and then just lie parts of your body on it. Prices range from £40 to about £120, but that's the equivalent of 4 professional massages. I found these two are really great for general muscle tension, and the Reviver is really good at releasing hypertonic and spasmodic muscle fibers. You might actually see the muscles jumping under the skin, but it gets noisier over time, so it's harder to watch something and massage at the same time. The Thumper isn't as good at releasing spasm, but better for relaxing the muscle generally. And, despite the name, it's actually quieter. Percussion massages are good for the whole body, but they beat the competition hands down when it comes to the neck area, if that's your problem. Now, if you want to go old school, you've got the whole world at your disposal. But I've got to stress this one point though. There's no one type or shape of tool or pressure applied that's right for everybody. It's purely individual. Foam rollers can be useful, but there's so many different densities, meaning you're back on trial and error. And just so you know, it doesn't follow that the stronger or more muscular you are, the harder you need the tool to be. It's probably more accurate to say, the more dysfunctional the muscle or the area is, the more in protection it'll be, so the stronger the intervention you might need to use. The cylindrical shape of the foam roller might be right for you, but you need more density, all the way up to PVC piping. And if you don't want to cart around foam rollers and piping, you can also use body bars or even Olympic bars. The tubular shape suits large amounts of real estate on your body, so your back, your glutes, hamstrings, quads, you've just got to experiment. Also look at spherical objects like balls from tennis, lacrosse, you know, those bouncy power balls, or even these spiky numbers. Again, this is an experiment of one. What works for one may not work for another. The balls are better for smaller areas that need special attention. Pinpoint a spot that you want to stay on for a while, lie back, and think of England. Other than that, you can use anything that's just blunt and effective. So dumbbells, kettlebells, broomsticks, rolling pins. The world's your tool shed, so try different things. Now personally, I found the best way to relax or release something is to try and entertain yourself with something else while you do it. Don't set about it like a mission. Watch a show, listen to some music or read a book and you'll find it so much more effective. And if you get one area that no matter how much you work on it, it won't relax or it always goes tight again afterwards, look at what you're doing in training or in life. If your back and neck's always achy and tight, are you doing too much pushing in your workouts, like press-up movements, and too little pulling, like rowing movements? Ideally, for every press rep, you want a pull rep. And if you've got some really tight, dysfunctional, spasm, gnarled up areas, you may need to look at dry needling. And believe it or not, that is something else you can also self-inflict, but that's a whole other video. I hope this helps. If it did, gently rub the thumbs up, and if you like my vibe, please subscribe. Woo! Woo!